Welcome back, everyone. We have Michael from Flotsam and Jetsam. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing awesome, Emily. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for being on, man. I know you've been really busy with all the stuff for getting ready for this record coming out.
Yeah, record hits on September 13th, so I think that's next Friday the
Mhm.
13th. We're not very superstitious, so that's not going to bug us
Mhm.
in that aspect. But looking forward to getting that out for everybody. And so far, the reviews have been pretty good about it. We're very proud of it and uh, just anxious to get it out there and start touring again.
I like the flow of the record because when I was listening, it had a perfect flow, and every song went straight into each other, which sometimes doesn't happen and sometimes it does. Was there a certain reasoning? Did you guys have a few ways to put the track listing together?
Yeah, we went, I don't even know how many times we tried to organize that, probably 10 or 15 times. We're trying to figure out there's so much different music out right now. There's so many options for people to
Mhm.
listen to. You want to make sure that you punch them in the face and you get you get the attention right away. So the first three or four songs have really got to be, it just got to grasp somebody. If I can't even spit that out this morning.
I agree though. Like if you can't grasp someone, you're having me now do it. But you can't do that, then there's no point in putting out a record, in my opinion. And it's hard to
Yep,
get that nowadays. And
true.
with you guys releasing your 15th studio record, was any of the writing and recording approach different since the first record, Doomsday for the Receiver?
Yeah, it's different because that was like old school recording where,
Yeah.
we had to book studio time and go in. It was 2-inch tape and all that. And now, we all have studios at home. It's all digital. Pro Tools and the digital audio workstations, the DAWs are easy to work with. So it's very easy to pass files back and forth and
Yeah.
send sessions and make changes and stuff like that. It's a lot easier. And plus, you know, back in the day, you kind of had to like have game face on a certain day, the
Right.
days that you scheduled your studio. But now it's like whenever you feel like recording, you just go in and do it.
And with this whole new record, did you guys record it all remote? Because you're talking about having your own studios, or did you guys at some time get together?
No, we don't get together until it's all done, and we decide on a set list and start figuring out what we're going to start playing live. That's the one bad thing about recording in home studios these days is that it's you don't all get into a big room and bang it out at a high volume and find out which songs are real high energy and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's the one drawback to it. But I think we're doing pretty good if we play pretty much any of them off the record.
And with you saying you guys get together after the record's done, can I ask which ones have hit you guys with the high energy together?
So far, the ones we made the videos of, which is A New Kind of Hero, Primal's already in the set, Burn My Bridges, I'm sure we're going to be doing that.
Mhm.
Um, we're actually trying to incorporate more of our newer material in our sets. So coming up in 2025, when we start doing the relentless touring,
Mhm.
that's probably what we're going to have mostly on our set, and still have some of the classics, but not so many as before.
So you're talking about bringing new music on. With you having 15 studio records, what's your approach with bringing the older ones? Is there certain staples you feel have to be on every set?
Yeah, Hammerhead and No Place for Disgrace. Those two songs absolutely have to be in there. Those are the bangers and the ones that the old school fans want to hear.
And with that, like, do you have any songs you think that the fans are going to enjoy that haven't heard them live, the newer ones?
Uh yeah, I think A New Kind of Hero is going to be a lot of fun to play live. It's real fast paced and Primal's been going over. We added Primal into our set for the summer festivals in Europe. So we kind of tried that one out, and that went over really, really good. So, and there's already people that know the words to it, and some of these people don't even speak English. So it's kind of cool.
That must have
Can't
been
ask
very
for
cool
more
to
than
see.
that.
That must have been very cool to see, especially like just releasing it and all that stuff like that. That's really cool. What I love is you guys put A New Kind of Hero as the first song that goes in. That guitar riff, I think, just brings the whole record together from the beginning. I loved it.
Oh, right on. Yeah, a lot of people think it's keyboards at the beginning, but there's no keys on that one. That's all guitar.
That's crazy if people think that's keyboards. I Maybe it's just because I'm a musician myself. I don't know. But do you have any favorite moments writing this record so far?
My favorite part about writing the records is probably when it comes to the guitar solos, because Steve Conley, the guitar player, we kind of battle. We don't give up our solos until like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks before we send it to mix. Uh, and that's kind of the competition. He doesn't want me knowing what he's doing. I don't want him knowing what I'm doing, because that the once we start releasing that stuff, there's a battle, and then now it ends up we're trying to top each other after that. So, but that's where the fun comes in, because we're on a time frame trying to kick each other's ass.
That's awesome, bro. And well, when I'm assuming you've listened to the whole record from start to finish already. When you heard his solos, what was your reaction?
Oh, he's a great guitar player, and I'm thinking the dude drives me to play better, and I hope I do the same for him. But yeah, he's done some stuff that I've never heard him do before, and he drives me to be a better player.
And when looking back to your like all your whole catalog with the finished product and anything, is there any like stuff you wish you did add to those songs that you didn't? Thinking back now.
Oh yeah, there's our third record, which I wish we could do a remix on,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish we could remix it, but we can't find the tapes for it. We don't own the tapes, so I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
So, what's some of your favorite riffs that you wrote for this record and past records?
Oh, one of my favorite riffs is "Beneath the Shadows" on this, and it's a lot different from the rest of the album. If you listen to it, it's got like people are saying a ZZ Top vibe,
Yeah.
which I don't know about that, but it's I think it's more of like a Walk Pantera vibe to me. But I like that. It's got a huge chorus on it, which something that Ken Mary and AK did. They worked on the all the verses and the choruses to make sure there's no filler songs on this record.
Yeah.
All these big choruses, like power metal people are kind of locking onto it, and they're digging it. So we're reaching a different genre of metal, which I think is kind of cool.
And do you prefer doing that than staying the whole thrash feel?
Yeah, I mean, we just write to the song. Whatever riff happens, we write to that. If it's like a clean guitar riff or a fast one, we try to write the song to that instead of just like as before when we were young. I guess it was just like, let's see how fast we could go, faster, faster, faster. Now it's more for the song. Everything's built for the song.
And with this record, you guys talk about doing this remote. How does it all start? You guys like write certain parts and you send it, then you start your stuff, or does the drummer usually goes first in the studio?
It's usually the guitar parts, and with all the tools that I have in my studio, I can pretty much assemble the whole song and give it an arrangement, and then send it off like that, because I'm sending more of a vibe and an energy instead of just a riff, for them to build on. So I don't necessarily care so much about if the riff gets turned around or whatever. What gets me is the energy. That's got to be there in the song.
I agree. And with this record, is there any archived or reworked riffs that you brought from like stuff that wasn't released to this record?
No, that's funny. I get that question a lot because we always have a bunch of songs left over, and we say the same thing every time. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and just use some of the filler songs and we're gonna rework them, and we'll put them on the next record.
Yeah.
But we never do it. We always just dump them all and start fresh.
And with you writing, did any songs not make it on the record that you guys did write for this record?
No, because we whittled it down after we started doing the lyrics on it. We whittled it down on the ones that were going to have the strongest choruses. So there wasn't really anything left over to put on like a B-side release or something like that. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but I do know that Japan usually gets an extra song on records, and we didn't do that this year. And nobody said anything, so I don't know.
Hey, but I mean that's cool. I mean the record's good how it is right now, anyways. And you guys toured so much over the years. You guys been around since the '80s. Do you have a dream tour lineup that hasn't happened that you would love for it to happen?
Oh yeah, I'd love to tour with Metallica, of course. That's every band, right?
I know, I get that every time.
But I think it would, every band that we've ever toured with, we always stay in touch with. It becomes family, even as far back as when we toured with Merciful Fate and King Diamond. We still talk to King whenever we're in Texas. We always go see him. So, and Hammerfall, that's another thing with when The End of Chaos came out, and during Blood in the Water, we toured with Hammerfall. I don't know they're not a thrash band, they're not a speed
Yeah.
metal band, they're more of a power metal band, but it worked perfectly. And fortunately, we get to play with them again on 70,000 Tons coming up.
Are you
Yeah,
excited about that? Have you guys done
yeah.
that?
This will be our third time. So it's like my favorite gig. I
Dang,
love
that must be fun. Like a couple days on a cruise ship, just hanging out with metalheads, people that are fans of you. You
that.
know.
You haven't done it yet?
Eventually, I will. I just don't.
Ugh.
I never have the time. It always comes up at the wrong time for me.
Yeah. Well, once you do it, you can't go back. You're gonna have to do it every year. It's a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it makes sense. And with you touring with bands or even playing with bands on cruise ships, what do you learn from these bands?
Uh, I learned to try to hold my alcohol. No, there's a lot of stuff. Like we toured, we didn't, we did 70,000 Tons with Dragon Force one year, and that was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys, and just to get to know them. Um, like we hung out pretty late at night, so there wasn't a whole lot of fans that were bothering us. We ended up hanging out in the lobby of the cruise ship,
Yeah.
and man, those guys are fun. They're all funny, super happy, just fun musicians.
Herman Lee's definitely a character. I'll say that one. I love watching his videos that he posts, and he's just going crazy. Or like I think one time he put on a maid's outfit, and he's like, he's shredding up that that one song that they're really known for, the Guitar Hero one.
Yep.
He's
Yeah,
funny
he's
guy.
great, man. He's a great guitar player. He's always breaking guitars. His guitars fell in the jacuzzi on 70,000 Tons, so he had to send that back to Iban. I think he plays Ibanez, so what a
It sounds
nightmare
like he
for
does.
Ibanez.
Right? They're like, really, dude, again, another one? Man, you guys must have some crazy stories on those ships, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're fun. You got to do it. I'm telling you, you got to do it.
Eventually I will. And do you have a favorite tour line that you have been on, like, or festival? I mean, except for the 1,000 tons one or 7,000 tons.
I've had some pretty good memories with Overkill.
Love
Derek,
that.
the guitar player, and I. He's kind of like my margarita drinking buddy, and like when he's showing up at your bus at 7 o'clock in the morning with a margarita for you,
That's
and you're
awesome.
waking up to that. I mean, like shit's gonna happen that day.
That sounds like a crazy tour ritual on an overkill tour, then, right?
Oh yeah.
Man. And do you have any tour rituals yourself?
Um, no, not really. No rituals. Nothing. The only I might have a habit of like I always bite my guitar picks to try to get a better grip on them, but that's about it. Everything else is just throw and go. Go for it.
And do you have any crazy rider requests or eating habits on tour?
Oh, no, you know what? Our rider is pretty. We've been trying to revamp that for the last 5 or 6 years because there's like nothing really on it that any of us eat or drink anymore. So I mean, we get the deli meat and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but even the beers, like none of us drink Sam Adams, but that's on the rider. Like
That's funny. Like you got that to have nothing that you really enjoy on the rider anymore, and it's still there. You just show up to the venue and it's just hanging out there. Like, great, we're not gonna drink this tonight. Just goes on the bus. It's crazy.
9 times out of 10, you don't get all of it anyway. But we
Yeah,
don't.
buyouts.
Yeah, we don't bitch about it too often because we're a super easy band to get along with, and we're not difficult.
That makes sense. And with you guys playing for so many years, is there any songs that you guys haven't played that you guys wish you would play?
Uh, yeah, I would like to bring back "Wading Through the Darkness." That was kind of in the mid '90s. That was our big MTV, that they played in a regular rotation, Headbangers Ball and all that stuff. But it's a little bit slower, and it's kind of our comparison to maybe alternative metal. Maybe I don't know.
If you guys did a headline set, what would your dream set list be if you got to pick all the songs?
Oh, um, it would be mostly newer material. I would like the band to not to stay away from the classics, but I'd just like to kind of put those on the back burner and let our newest or our last four records breathe a little bit and get some of that stuff out there. There's still fans that come up to us and go, "We didn't even know you had a new record out," and that's pretty
Dang.
alarming. But AFM, our current record label's doing a pretty good job at getting stuff out there. COVID was really detrimental to bands,
Yeah.
and that had a lot to do with it. But yeah, it's a little bit alarming when people haven't heard that you've got new stuff and they're still asking for old stuff.
I think what killed me is because I have to stay on top of everything that's coming out and like press releases, and it bummed me out that you guys had to cancel a tour just because of like, I think it was low ticket sales or something like that. And I'm just like, how are they have low ticket sales? Someone's not doing this right. You guys are a big known band. I mean, Flotsam and Jetsam's huge, you know?
Well, the stuff that happens behind the scenes, like, we get a certain guarantee for doing shows. They pay us
Yeah.
a certain price, a negotiated price. And if we go out and do these shows and there is low ticket sales, and even the promoters were calling us saying, hey, there's low ticket sales, but we still think there's going to be, a lot of walk-ups, but we're asking you to cancel. And so it's like, okay, but there's a lot of competition. It was just following COVID. There was a lot of bands out there. We had other issues with our crew, with our bus, and some financial stuff going on because buses are crazy expensive
Yeah.
right now.
Flying's expensive.
And then the other thing is, the next time you come around your tour, if you have low ticket sales or you have low attendance, your guarantees are going to start coming down.
Sure.
Promoters are going to say, hey, you were worth this then, but you couldn't bring any people in. So it just made sense, especially when they're calling us and asking us to cancel and say, let's cancel this and reschedule it. So we got a lot of flack for it, but in all honesty, from the business aspect of it, it was a smart decision. We pissed like Generation Kill, pissed those guys off because they were our direct support. But it's business. It's not personal.
Yeah, I was talking to Brian from Atrophy a few months ago about this whole situation, and he's like, I just don't understand. They're such a huge band. So we were really bummed when we were talking about that because you guys are legendary in some ways, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a bummer. Anytime you got to cancel shows, we've never had to do that before, and it's just crazy time in the business, and things are starting to look a little bit better, but it's still pretty crazy out there.
I agree, especially with touring. It's getting more and more expensive to do it. And it's not, and like a lot of times these venues aren't helping you guys out by wanting a cut of your guys' merch when that's your guys' money you're trying to make for the night, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I got some things to say about that too. It's not really, they don't, and it's not all of them. There's
Yeah.
clubs that don't advertise, they don't do shit, and then they're like, where's all the people? It's like, well, it's your club, I don't live in your city. How am I supposed to promote in your city other than our Facebook and our website? It's kind of up to them if they want to put out radio ads or something like that. They can't just sit on their hands and expect a sold out show.
I agree. And then when performing live, is there any songs that take you back when songs got released that you feel when you play live, you know?
Hammerhead every time. Those first four chords at the beginning, it reminds me of when I first joined the band.
That's
Every time.
that's so cool. Man, I was like to release that record and you have like Jason Newsted on that record. That was the first record, you know, that was crazy. Is there any songs ever that you wish you wrote?
That I
Like
wish
any?
I wrote.
Yes.
Oh, I wish I would have wrote Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, I wish I would. I don't like that song, but I wish I would have wrote it. Cherry
Royalties?
Pie. And I'm sorry for mentioning Cherry Pie because now you're going to be singing that for the rest of the day. My apologies, but I wish I would have wrote that.
If it makes you feel better, it's Thursday. We party on Thursdays, and that's what my family likes to listen to. So I was already gonna hear it anyways.
Oh, they like the old school, like the butt rock music.
My dad's a big Motley Crue fan.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's his thing. I got my thrash liking from my mom.
Nice.
I don't know how they end up together, but hey, I'm just kidding. As a band, what record do you feel that you guys released that made you come into your own and shape you guys as a band?
I think the last four are the ones that have really done it for us. I'm super proud of them. I'm grateful, and I know I speak on behalf of the whole band, grateful that we're still relevant and that we're here and still doing this. There's still plenty of gas in the tank for this band.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of fire underneath us right now. We're angry, but very happy to still be here.
that's cool. And you guys have 15 records. If you can pick your top 5 favorite records that you have released, which ones would they be?
The top five. So I'm going to start from the latest release, which is going to be "I Am the Weapon," and worked my way back.
Perfect.
So go back 4 to the self-titled, and then "No Place for Disgrace." Ah, man, no, let's scratch the self-titled. We'll go back to "No Place," and then "Doomsday for the Deceiver."
Yeah, those are all great ones too. And then from the start of Flotsam and Jetsam to now, how has your gear change or recording gear changed for you, live or recording?
So I used to play Mesa Boogie,
Mhm.
and then this little amp came out called a Kemper profiling
I
amp,
know.
and so I was able to record all my boogie stuff into that thing in this convenient little box that I can take everywhere, and I don't have to bring a full stack. I can just bring this Kemper profiler, and so that's what I use now. I use that in the studio. I use that live.
Yeah.
That's that's my main rig, and I play ESP guitars at the moment. I'm super happy with those. I play
Nice.
really hard, and the ESPs provide it. They don't go out of tune. They're just a very solid guitar for me. It's kind of like they have the neck of a Les Paul. Um,
Yeah.
I used to play Les Pauls until I saw something horrifying happen to one of my Les Pauls, and they stay in my music room now, and they don't leave. They're retired.
But that makes sense. I mean, they're way more expensive than ESP. ESP does have like a lot of expensive guitars, but not on the level of like Les Pauls, So that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. I was like, I'm gonna start playing guitars that I don't have that I'm not connected to. And what happened was I got connected to my ESPs. So if I see anybody in baggage handler like mishandling it, I get a little teary eyed.
That's crazy. It's crazy because when I was talking to Sheehan yesterday, he was telling me they ship all their gear overseas and then they fly in. I think that's crazy that like I never heard that in my life that people ship their stuff there because I'm used to what you're talking about. You see like people handling your stuff and you're like, no, gets all
Man,
just
we were just in Frankfurt a couple of weeks ago, and I guess Paul Gilbert, they had some stuff stolen out of a couple of guitars stolen out of the. Did he tell you that story?
No, we didn't talk too much about the recent tour, but we just talked about like old stories of him hanging out with Lemmy and shit. But no, they didn't tell me that, but that's crazy. That's such a shitty thing for people to do too. It's like, come on, man. I get it. You want a piece of history, but
Well,
it's not yours.
I don't even know if it's that, because like where we stayed in Frankfurt, we it's been a while since we've stayed there,
Yeah.
but like the city and the city center was awful. There were homeless people and drug addicts everywhere. And
Yeah.
so we didn't leave any of our gear in our van.
I
We
want
took
to.
everything upstairs, and yeah, it was pretty terrifying. So it wasn't really shocking to hear that happened to them. It's like, yeah, that sucks,
It
and it
does.
probably went into some hands that they don't even know, like, what a guitar god that guy is,
I
and
know.
what those guitars really are. He's like one of the best in the world.
I agree, man. And like he gets to play with Billy Sheehan, and Billy Sheehan's one of the best bass players. I don't know.
It's
That's
incredible. Yeah, they do
mind
that
blowing.
thing they're all intertwined, and I think he's picking Paul's guitar and Paul Gilbert's picking the bass, and
Yeah.
that's insane.
I thought it
I
was
don't
funny.
want to be.
Yesterday he was telling me, he's like, man, just people post solos of us. They never post us actually playing the songs and see that we actually do more than just soloing. I was like, well, dude, you guys are insane on solos, man. You guys are like crazy.
You know what song I watched the other day? It was the Winery Dogs with Billy Sheehan, and it was "Fooled Around and Fell in Love." It's that old Elvin Bishop song. Have you heard
Mhm.
that yet?
I haven't.
You should check that out if you get a chance. It's so cool. It'll bring you back to like really old school '70s music, but it's just done so well. And Billy Sheehan plays great on it, and he
You should.
he plays great on everything he touches. So
Oh, he started the interview out. He's like, let me get my security blanket, and he grabs his teal guitar, and then at one point he's playing like the Yardbird solo like on bass, and I'm just like, okay, like I'm cool with this whole interview being bass stuff. I'm cool. I'll just watch. Yeah, no questions needed. um, so you guys been a band for 4 decades now. How have you guys learned to adapt over the years?
Uh, it's definitely a work in progress, you know, because everything, like even the music scene has changed so much, and just trying to adapt to it. No wonder why a lot of bands are just like, I'm done with this. You can't make money at it. Super difficult. Everything is there's speed bumps on in every aspect of it, so you really got to love it. So well, I guess what I would say to like any upcoming artist is like, don't. I'm not saying don't quit,
Yeah.
or I'm not saying to quit. I'm saying just set your plateaus and your expectations so you can step ladder them up. You know, meet your first expectation, keep it low to start with, and just keep doing those, and just put your time in and keep building up and stepping up the ladder.
And has it been a hard adapt since you guys had to go from like actually like passing out stuff, flyers, or having radio play to social media?
Yeah, because we're older guys, you know. I'm not an Instagram guy, but that's what everybody's doing. I'm like the Facebook guy, so that shows my age. And yeah, I mean, you have to do that these days in order to stay relevant, you know. So we're getting better at it, but it's a lot different than like you said, passing out flyers or sending out cassette tapes, or
Right.
you know. And
And
then
what
the haters too, and the people that are trolling, it's like ridiculous. Like, why do you got to do that?
well, sometimes it's just they're bots.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. That's what it's because I have them. I do bass covers, so you get bots, and they'll be like, "Well, you suck" or something. I'm like, "Well, at least I'm putting myself out there."
Yeah,
That's
anybody that would say something like that is a piece of crap. Just
yeah,
because it doesn't matter. You're doing what you want to do, and it's for you. It's not for them,
right.
you know. So, and it's highly opinionated. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but you know, you don't got to be a piece of crap about it, you know.
Oh, I agree. And what keeps you motivated after all these decades?
Uh, Jeff Loomis, Andy James, Brandon Ellis, those guys, Timu and Kiko, those guys keep me, because I'll never be that, but
Y- Yeah,
it's
you're
fun
good.
trying to get there.
You're that good. Do you have any like practice rituals you do like do you before you either playing or even just practicing?
I practice constantly, and I keep finding I go back to the start because uh, I just feel like I'm doing it wrong. I should probably get a teacher again. I should probably get a teacher and then go back because a couple of years ago I changed the way I picked. I
Oh,
changed my strings. And it's like starting over. It took me another 3 years to learn how to do alternate picking the way I want to, you know. And I'm still not there yet.
that's
It's
insane to
frustrating.
learn. That's insane to learn. And for you, what five records shaped you as an artist?
5 records. Power Ridge, probably my favorite record of all time. Angus Young, huge influence on me. Uh, Probably the most underrated blues guitar player that there's ever been. So good. Randy Rhoads, of course, Blizzard of Oz, and Diary of a Madman.
Hell yeah.
Huge influence on me. Uh, Van Halen 1 and Fair Warning.
Those
I
are
can never play like Eddie Van Halen. I've tried. Some people can approach that style and do it. I don't have that touch. Um, yeah.
insane, man. Those are all great picks. And you guys were around when thrash became huge. For you, what's your Mount Rushmore of thrash bands?
Mount Rushmore of thrash bands. Probably, geez, it probably going to be Anthrax. Uh,
I don't get that a lot, but I agree, man. I feel like they're underrated.
Super underrated, but like Scott Ian with that guitar tone when that came out, Fistful of Metal, he was like, it was a step heavier than what Metallica was doing, you know, hit with that guitar tone. And his guitar tone is great.
Oh
He's got
yeah,
one of the best guitar tones ever.
I agree. And what would your other ones be?
Um, Geez, I don't know. I've never had to answer that question before. Monuments and Thrash, definitely Slayer.
Hmm.
Uh, Not the greatest guitar tone, but still, when they're all together, there's some anger that just cannot be replicated. They're pretty kick ass. I always like the uh, Nevermore stuff, the stuff that Jeff Loomis does. That guy is one of the best on the planet. So, and all my stuff is mostly guitar
Okay.
based, you know.
That makes sense,
So,
though. You're a guitar player, you know?
yeah. So that's like the first thing I listen for.
I feel you. And for someone checking you guys out for the first time, what songs would you suggest them to get into you guys?
Oh, a new kind of hero. I'd say
Mhm.
start from our latest record and work your way back. So on this latest record, a new kind of hero, on Blood in the Water, either the title track or there's a song on there which is my favorite song that we do, which is called Reaggression.
Hell yeah.
Uh, I like that. That's pretty heavy.
And where can everyone keep up with you guys and buy this new fantastic record?
It should be available online
Mhm.
on our website, AFM Records. Flotstildeath.com is where our website's located.
Cool.
Uh, I think you can pick it up on Facebook. There's ads out on Facebook right now on our site that where you can order it from. So there's a lot of different places. It should be out in record stores too. If you like if you still know where there's a record store in your hometown.